Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Nice that so many people are joining and want to listen to today's topic, which is customers' experiences of using the Recond Oil Box. And this is about how you as industrial companies can achieve circular use of your industrial oils and thereby reduce your negative impact on the environment, but also save money and get performance improvements in your processes. This webinar will be recorded and it will be accessible afterwards via skf.com. If you have questions, I hope you do have questions, ask them during the webinar and we will pick up as many questions as possible during the Q&A at the end of the session. If we don't have time to answer them all, please leave your email address with the question in the chat and we will come back to you with answers. My name is Lisa and I'm the Global Marketing Manager at SKF RecondOil. Today I have my colleague Gustav with me here. Tell us a little bit who you are.
Sure. My name is Gustav and I have been at SKF RecondOil for nearly 5 years now, since the beginning actually. And I lead our global go-to-market team who helps our sales organization and partners to provide as much value as possible to you as a customer.
Great. Feels like you are the right person to have in the room for today's topic. So let's get started. Before we start with today's agenda though, we thought we would make a short introduction of Recond Oil for those of you who have not come across us before. We are part of SKF, which is a global company represented in 130 countries that offers bearings, but also seals, lubrication systems, condition monitoring, maintenance services, and other solutions for rotating equipment. Under the Recond Oil brand, we offer products and services that help our customers take care of their industrial oils so that it can be used with maintained quality throughout the application's lifetime. Simply what we call a circular use of oil. And Gustav, circular use of oil, can you help us explain a bit how that can be achieved?
Absolutely. It all starts with our unique oil cleaning technology, which can remove impurities down to nano size. It's called double separation technology, or DST for short, and these nanoparticles that we can then attract with our cleaning technology are the major factor for oil degradation and cannot be removed by conventional oil cleaning technologies. And therefore, DST is key for achieving a true circular use of oil, and we apply DST in various types of solutions. And the Recond Oil Box, which we will talk about today, is the most common one.
That was a short introduction about us, so let's jump into today's agenda. And we will start by watching a short introduction video of the Recond Oil Box, which is, as Gustav said, our most used product, and which is also the product that the customers we will talk about today have been using. Then you, Gustav, you will do a little bit of a deep dive into some of our customer cases and you will give concrete examples of how these customers have managed to save money and at the same time improve their processes. And of course, also reducing their environmental impact. We will then get to listen to one of our customers. It's Smurfit Kappa. They act in the paper industry and they have used our solution to maintain their industrial oil over time. We will also be visited by another of our colleagues, Aldara, who will tell us about our double separation technology, how it works, what makes it so good and unique. And then we finish with a Q&A. Now, the introduction video, this is the Recond Oil Box.
Hi, here we have the new Recond Oil Box. This box is an oil cleaning unit where we have a part with a hood, including a display unit, a motor and pump, and a sensor block where we can control and monitor the oil quality and the cleaning capacity. We have also inlet and outlet of the oil on the right side, which makes it quite easy to install and commission the system. We have the filter housing, where we have the technology since 30 years back with the standard depth filter, and today also we can combine this with the DST technology that cleans down to nano size level, where we can enable true circular use of oil. This unit has some key features when it comes to size, installation properties. We have a spill tray, we have detachable legs so we can install the unit on brackets on a wall. And the only tool you need when it comes to service is a 14mm wrench. That's it. And this unit, as you hear, is quite quiet. So with the new features that we have incorporated in the developed product, we really can see that functionality and the noise level is on a very good level. With the new SKF RecondOil Box, we can enable true circular use of oil, and with that also minimize the carbon footprint.
Now we will look at how some of our customers have used our Recond Oil Box and what the value of this has been for them. And Gustav, you will talk us through a number of customer cases. What we can say, I think, is that common to these cases is that they have all dared to make the shift from viewing oil as a consumable to seeing it more as an asset that needs to be maintained, but which can then provide them very concrete values to their businesses, right?
Yes, that's definitely true. And the first case that I would like to tell you about is a customer case from Italy. It's a customer who manufactures metal parts for the automotive industry, and they suffered from severe oil contamination in the hydraulic system of a critical forging press. And this caused instability in the manufacturing process, and the press had several pump and valve failures over the last 2 years. In 2023, we installed a Recond Oil Box with the latest DST technology to reduce particle and varnish contamination and to keep the oil constantly clean. 3 months later, the oil was back to optimal condition, and varnish and overall number of particles were significantly reduced. And the results were so good that the customer actually decided to sign a 3-year oil as a service contract with us. And for these 3 years, the customer estimates that they will save around 24,000 euros for this single forging press. And that is after the investment. And reduce at least 23 tons of CO2 equivalents. And of course, which is an indirect effect and benefit that comes with this, you can also see that they will benefit from a much more reliable and productive manufacturing process.
Yeah, very impressive results. What's the main takeaway from this case?
Well, it shows that you not only get a sustainable use of the oil, but the savings on the indirect costs can be many, many times the oil cost savings. And that also, of course, again, the main benefit is increased reliability and productivity.
Good. And I know you have another case for us as well.
Sure, exactly. And the next case I would like to show is actually an example where the actual cost, the actual oil cost, is significant and becomes the most important saving. This is a customer from Spain who is a packaging producer in the pulp and paper industry. And they faced problems with varnish in the circulating oil of this paper machine, and that led to the oil to degrade quickly and to a point where it needed to be changed. And this is a premium synthetic oil that is very expensive to replace, And even though the recommendation from the oil supplier was to actually change the oil, we deployed our Recond Oil Box solution to try to save the oil. And after 4 months with the Recond Oil Box running, the oil was restored to an acceptable level, and it didn't need to be replaced in the end. The customer saves now 60,000 euros of this avoided oil change and 24 tons of CO2 equivalents. But not only with this, you see also the indirect effect of removing varnish also leads to better reliability in the process, and hopefully then avoiding unplanned shutdowns and damage of components in the process. And finally, I would like to show a customer case from the energy sector. And this is an interesting case because it shows that the customer's maintenance related to changing the oil can be greatly reduced with our solution. And these are sometimes costs one does not initially think of that they are linked to oil contamination. And this is a customer from Finland who has a power plant that refines waste into power. They have a critical hydraulic system that controls the boiler grades in the process. And the hydraulic oil was contaminated and degraded by heat. The oil was almost end of life and was about to be changed. So we installed a Recond Oil Box and tried to save the oil. And since then, in 2022, they have been using the same oil, and they have also prevented leaks thanks to the seals working better in the system with a continuously clean oil. And the big win, again, is the maintenance costs. They have been able to reduce them by as much as 80%.
Thank you, Gustav. Very interesting 3 cases, and it seems when listening to you that these 3 cases show that our solution can actually address a large number of different challenges for the customers, be it sustainability, be it direct oil costs or even indirect costs, and the problems that you have due to dirty oil. So, very interesting. Now, we will listen to one of our customers, Smurfit Kappa, and what they have to say about Recond Oil. This is a customer with whom we have had very good collaboration, and they have had the Recond Oil Box installed in their paper production processes since almost 2 years now. Hello, José Luis, and thank you so much for being here today and sharing your experiences from using Recond Oil within Smurfit Kappa in Spain. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, so let's get going. To start with, maybe you can share with us a little bit about Smurfit Kappa as a company and your role within the company.
Yes. My name is José Luis Vaquero, and I've been working in Smurfit Kappa for 22 years. And the last 14 years, I'm in charge of maintenance in Sangüesa Mill in Navarra, Spain. Smurfit Kappa is a global provider of paper-based packaging. We are 47,000 employees in 36 countries. And right now we are facing relevant challenges such as safety, people, increasing management positions held by women, and sustainability. Our ambition is to have at least net zero emissions by 2050, reduction in chemical oxygen demand, water usage, and waste landfill.
Thank you for that introduction. And as maintenance manager, then, can you describe the specific challenges that you were facing that led you to seek a solution like Recond Oil?
Yes, starting point was the hydraulic oil for the turbine was contaminated by varnish. Our process has a turbine which can turn steam produced in the boilers into the electricity we use to power the mill in 40%. Then oil testing showed poor condition of the oil due to the varnish, and we were thinking about the choice of improving the oil quality of the turbine during operation. Otherwise, we had to schedule a 24 electricity generation shutdown and changing 6,000 liters of oil in the hydraulic unit. Meanwhile, we noticed the possibility of a breakdown due to the varnish layer over the internal parts of the turbine. A few months ago, we were using successfully one kind of kidney filter in other machines, but only for improving dust in the oil. Then we held a meeting with SKF, and they showed us how they work in Tudela plant, recovering oil from its own honing process thanks to Recond Oil integrated system, and all kind of oils from different companies and application in the standalone installation. We talk about to implement the knowledge for oil cleaning process of SKF in a portable system for working in our mill during normal process without shutdowns. Recond Oil team started to work on the challenge, and they show it as Recond Oil Box like a technical solution.
Yeah, varnish can really be a challenge, of course, and you don't want your turbine that runs the electricity to be switched off, of course. Can you explain how Recond Oil could help you face these challenges?
Yes, Recond Oil Box was installed in June 2022. And really, after a few days, the oil condition recovered the standards like a new oil without shutdown, and minimized the risk of turbine failure. And the risk not only was the varnish, but the dust. Both are risk for our oil.
Great. So the Recond Oil Box was implemented 2 years ago in June 2022. Can you tell us a little bit how it was implementing the solution? Was it easy? Any obstacles that you had to overcome?
Yes, it was easy. Our turbine has the oil container storage high up over the floor, above 4 meters. The Recond Oil team had to find a solution to make it work. It was solved by Recond Oil engineering team. And once we had that in place, the installation of Recond Oil Box was completed without any problems. The SKF Recond Oil team was during the commissioning on site to ensure that the whole process was smooth.
And once you had started cleaning the oil with Recond Oil, what kind of improvements did you see?
After 3 weeks installation, the oil condition monitoring showed that the varnish was removed and the oil was in really good condition. In the longer run, time reduced, particle counter and water were reduced, and the same oil is still in use after almost 2 years.
That's really impressive, using the same oil over and over again for 2 years. Can you explain a little bit more what this has meant to you, having clean oil constantly? What results, benefits do you see come out of that?
Yes, the result was very good, and the main benefits were to avoid the 24 electricity generation shutdown and changing 6,000 liters of oil. That time cost of electricity was high, and the shutdown plus changing the oil would cost 40,000 euros roughly. This was our first touch point with Recond Oil. Since the first installation, we have also purchased another Recond Oil box that has been installed and commissioned end of April to clean the circulating oil used in the dry part of the paper machines process. And on the other hand, we ordered some batch regenerations of circulating oil in SKF oil regeneration plant in Tudela in Spain.
Interesting and impressive results, José Luis. And we're looking very much forward to continue our good cooperation with you. And thanks a lot for joining us today and share your experiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's now have a look at how the Recond Oil Box works with this short animation video. You might be curious about how all of this works in a little bit more detail. What is really our double separation technology that enables the nano cleaning of the oil? Now, I've been joined by one of my colleagues, Aldara. Can you just say briefly a few words about who you are?
Thanks, Lisa. Yes, of course. My name is Aldara Naveira, and I'm responsible for technology development and delivery in Recond Oil. What means from the R&D activities related to our double separation technology all the way to the implementation and technical support and service to customers. I've been with Recond Oil almost 4 years now, I think.
I think so, yes. Thank you, Aldara. So I leave it to you then to tell us a little bit more about double separation technology and how it works.
Yes, and I hope to do that quite short and concise for the time we have. The double separation technology, as the name says, it combines a chemical separation booster, that is our uniqueness, with different mechanical separation processes depending on the DST solution that we offer to the market. When we think about the Recond Oil Box, for example, what we do is apply our separation booster into the cellulose depth filter. Our booster then gets in contact with the oil when it's flowing through this filter, and it's removing all types of contaminants. And why is it so unique, our separation booster? Well, what it can do, as Gustav has mentioned before, is remove all type of contaminants independently of the size. So we can go down to the nano level, and we also remove the bigger particles. That's a question sometimes we get. How does it do that? I think there's beauty in simplicity when we talk about this technology, and the booster acts like a chemical magnet, basically, and it attracts these contaminants by polarity. So that allows it to tackle, for example, metal particles coming from wear processes, soluble and insoluble varnish, for example, and water contaminants. And others, let's say, less known as, for example, depleted additives that are that can be present in the oil and can be quite damaging sometimes, as some of those species can be corrosive, for example. So how we do this is, as I said, the booster gets in contact with the oil and it's removing it constantly. And then what we can achieve with this is to maintain the oil always in optimal lubrication conditions. And what this actually means is what we have in the slide, where we look at the case from seals. Actually, as Gustav mentioned before, one of our customers have seen the advantages of our technology in their energy production. when one of the main effects they have seen is that the performance of their sealing is much better. So what I'm showing you here is a heavy-duty seal testing for industrial seals that we have done in collaboration with our colleagues in Judenburg. What you can see in the black line is the regular behavior of an oil with, I should say, an inline filter. So a full flow filter is cleaning that oil of the bigger particles at all times. And what you see in green is actually what you can achieve with the Recond Oil Box solution. So what you see here is, first of all, that we have effectively doubled the life of the oil. The last part of the regular testing that you see here, it's a fail test. There's too much friction, there's too much leakage and too much damage to the seals. And with the Recond Oil Box, we are basically cleaning a 1% of the oil every minute. It's a kidney solution. But just that small percentage, our system is so effective that, as you can see, it just continues and maintains this top lubrication performance of the oil at all times. And what are the results? As we see, longer life of the oil, double in this case when we stop the testing, more than 96% reduction on the CO2 emissions linked to this process, and an average reduction in friction of minus 35%. As you can see, that depends a little bit on the cycle and on the conditions. And here is, let's say, the explanation behind the customer example that Gustav was talking about before.
Thank you, Aldara. It's interesting. It's so easy to think about the direct oil costs and the benefits that comes with clean oil, but here we can see some really impressive results in terms of energy efficiency, etc.
Yes, indeed.
So very interesting. If we then summarize a little, we can say that industrial companies can surely reduce their environmental impact, save a lot of money, improve the performance of their processes by just taking care of their oil and continuously clean it of impurities. If you manage to remove even the nanosmall impurities that cause the oil to degrade, you can achieve circular use of oil, which means that you can use the same oil over and over again without having to buy new oil and replace the old one. We have now come to the Q&A, so let's see what questions have come up already in the chat. And if you haven't put any questions yet, please do so. Then I would like to welcome Gustav in again to support with the Q&A. Hi, Gustav.
Hey.
Let us see on the screen here what questions we've got. Here's one from Andreas. It's about how fast will the oil be cleaned? I think this is for you, Gustav.
Sure. So I know that for main filters, you often talk about speed or the flow speed. We are not so concerned about that. The flow speed is less important for our kidney loop system. For us, it's more important that we size the system in the correct way so we take out more contaminants that actually is coming in to the solution. And we also need to allow time for the oil to run through our system to be able to capture these nanoparticles. So as long as we size the equipment correctly, we will make sure that we keep the oil continuously clean at all times.
Good. And then we have another one. Yes, we have been talking about varnish during the webinar today, Aldara. And here's a question. Why is your solution better to clean out varnish than other solutions?
Well, the secret resides with the booster, I would say, as we explained before. What we have varnish where you have is normally varnish is not one substance, let's say. It's an agglomeration of substances derived from the degradation and contaminants in your oil. As I mentioned before, luckily most of them are polar substances. That's why our booster is so effective as taking them out. And normally when you have other type of systems, the varnish is a bit more developed, it's more like sludge, and then it's much easier to remove, but then it's a little bit too late. It's already taking already place in your surfaces, in your seals, and limiting the performance of your components. And what our solution does with the booster, as it's not limited by size, is removing them continuously. And first of all, you avoid this agglomeration and the formation of further formation of varnish as well. So again, the secret is in the booster in this case.
Yeah, no, I understand. And the fact that we can remove it at an early stage
Exactly.
before it has become a problem. Yeah. All right, let's see. Gustav, I think this one is for you. And it's about what typical applications can you use the box for?
Good question. I mean, the Recond Oil Box can be used for most of the applications that have lubricating oils, but our main focus is today hydraulic systems, and of course that's very general. So you can find, as you know, hydraulic systems everywhere in metals, mining, pulp and paper, all types of manufacturing and so on. And the DST solution is especially good for that. But definitely the DST will be expanded to other lubricating oils over time.
Good. And here's another one. How does the chemical substance in your solution affect the additives in the oil? Aldara?
Thanks. That's a very common question, I would say. And again, the booster works on polarity, so some additives are also polar, so it is a very valid question. So we actually test all the oils that we receive as potential applications to make sure we actually do not interact in a negative way with the additivation package in that particular oil. So normally we do a simulation about what the treatment could be, so we can show an example of the cleanliness level that we can bring to the customer, and also assure that none additives or any other critical property of the oil is affected. And that is that type of report we provide for our customers when we're discussing the solutions together with our sales colleagues. Additives is one other common question in that line is regarding foaming. And that's more related to the depth filtration part of our systems more than the additive. And this is also something we test as well, so we can provide information to the customers with before and after the treatment, all the foaming properties or other important properties of the oil, like air release, water separability, are maintained or improved after the DST treatment or the utilization of the Recond Oil Box.
Great. And then we have another one. This time is from Chobo. Thanks for sharing the good work. May I ask, what are the major challenges or limitations of the DST technology in the lubrication oil circulation applications?
The major challenge, I mean, when the DST technology is compatible with the specific oil, there is no specific challenge. Then it should be cleaned as predicted.
Exactly. Maybe we should remark on that.
Yeah.
The DST the Recond Oil Box equipped with a DST filter is not applicable to all oils. Is also, first of all, is limited to neat oils, water-based products we do not treat. And there are certain formulations like glycol base or certain esters that also are not applicable for our technology. But I would say otherwise, as I said before, we always test the oil before to make sure that we can treat it in a good way. So no particular limitations in that, from a formulation perspective from the oils.
Good. And then I think we have one question that is related to this. Is it applicable on engine oil? We have got that question many times, I think.
Yes. Please take that one.
Not today. It is something that is a common question that comes, and of course, when you think about energy efficiency in systems, engine oils are quite a logical step to go to. But here is actually due to the additivation levels in the engine oils and that type, that we have not tackled those type of oils so far.
Yet, exactly, yeah. And then another one. How does Recond Oil help in cleaning an oil with salts like sea salt? Won't the salt be clogging the filters?
No, well, depends on the salts, I would say, but as if you saw in the video that, and also the explanation a bit from Mats, I believe we have purely the filtration based on the cellulose paper is more based on the laminar flow, so it's not a particularly tight filter in that sense. So I mean, filters will clog eventually. Also, regardless if it's salts or not, more and more contaminants, you will start to lose filtration efficiency because there's less cellulose and booster available. But we have not tackled that specific question. I think we have had it sometimes with some quenching oils regarding salts, but it should not be a particular problem regarding clogging at least. But then we will need to look at the specific solution.
As any other contaminant.
Any other solid contaminant, yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, the important part here is, of course, to make regular oil condition monitoring, so you know also when the filter is starting to be saturated, so you exchange it at the right time, and then you will keep the oil clean as it should.
Good. Then I think we ran out of. That was all. Yeah. So I guess then all that remains is for us to say a big thank you to all of you who have been listening. And please get in contact if you have any more questions. And we wish you a nice continued day. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.